Hey, good morning, everyone. Let me see how I get rid of this so you can actually see me. I think this. No. Hmm. Okay, maybe this. Okay, there you are. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, so excited to be here on February 21st, 2021. And my Sunday show is called Stories of Serendipity and Synchronicity. And where I came up with that is from um, just ever since I was a child, I have just had questions and I didn't understand things. And I didn't understand how people move on and they don't question things. And so I have to warn you that you might hear the word God. So if you're offended by that, keep an open mind because I have a really strong faith in God, but I don't know what it is. And I'm looking at someone's contacted me on LinkedIn. Hang on one second. People had a hard time last week finding me too. Go to my LinkedIn. So I must still not have that figured out. So, well, I have ADD even without interruptions. And when there's interruptions, I really am bad. Yeah, just why do bad things happen to good people, and why do good things happen to bad people, and how you bounce back, and how you move on. And I have a guest today. Her name is Janet Palmer, and she is trying to get on right now. And sorry, someone else is saying. Let me just see if I need to send someone this. Thank you for your patience. All of this is so new to me. And like 2 weeks ago, it worked flawlessly. And now it doesn't seem to be that people are getting on. Oh, we go. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I have someone from Greater Seattle area. I'm going to say Kanchan. Kanchan, hopefully I'm not totally messing up your name. Actually, I think you know Nan, who is trying to get on. And hang on one second. Now I have to find this. How did you? Okay, so now, oh, and Pete Roque is on. Okay, hola, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días. And Elizabeth, you're in Virginia, not in New York. Amazing. So now I just have to figure out how to get Janet on. Janet, since you're on, I sent you in LinkedIn the link. Did you click it? In fact, I'm going to put it in a private chat for you right now. Yeah, but Janet, I don't see. Usually, when my guest, I have a little box here with your picture on it. Okay, now Nan Hamilton is coming on. I'm going to let Nan come on the screen.
Hey there, am I on?
Nan, hey Nan, you're on the screen with me.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure you can you see me okay? Am I in the right place?
Yeah. So how did you get here? Tell everybody how you got here.
So, figuratively or physically? Like
How you got right here, because people are having a hard time getting on.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to say at the front, some events on LinkedIn have an actual link right next to the online event. I don't know how you place that there, but right like a couple lines above the registration,
Okay.
many events have a link embedded right there. So you see it, but it's not live till the day of the event. So I got here today because you dropped this Real Stream link in my LinkedIn. And I think this is important. We're all struggling a bit to find the easiest way into events. The whole world is doing this. It's called the Digital Commute. I just talked to
Oh, you
someone
are
in
so
Edmonton.
sweet.
I've been listening. Like I like to bring answers to people, and I've been listening. I was talking to someone in Edmonton, Alberta, who works with a lot of teams across the world, and she said, "We're calling it the digital commute, where you just have to wonder which highway you're taking today, and if the traffic's high or low, and how many minutes ahead you need." So, we're all learning something new every week. We're in a constant state of
So let's see.
neuroplasticity right now, right? So
So if
I
I
think in
go
the
on my,
future that will help you. In the future, that will help you if you can figure out how to get LinkedIn to teach you how to embed that link right next to the join live event. It's usually what it says right next to the video camera. And I don't
yeah,
remember how I got on 2 weeks ago, honestly, because I was struggling to get on. But are
maybe
we
I
the
need.
only ones here? Or are there other people
Well,
here?
there's other people on the call. Janet, who is my guest,
Oh,
hasn't. You remember Janet?
oh, yes.
She hasn't figured out, or I haven't done it right to get her over here where you are. And
Okay.
Elizabeth, who's my number one groupie, is here.
Oh,
And
yay.
Pete Roke is that a guy I know from my former life in code enforcement. And
Oh, nice. Code enforcement.
I actually hope to use this platform to publicize an event we're having that's coming up. And
Wow.
Pete, I promise I'll have this all together by the time.
This is the dry run. The first few sessions are you get the bugs out, right? And everybody that loves you stays with you and says, of course, we're in the studio figuring out how to adjust the levels on the sound and where's the light switch. So we do this regularly in Toastmasters. If we have a contest, we have a 2-hour dry run a few days before. We walk
Oh,
through
good.
everything, we answer every question, we problem solve, and then we bond as a team. And it's
Uh-huh,
fabulous,
uh-huh.
So well, I don't want to hog the screen. I'm here. I invited 9 people. A lot of them are hoping to come. If I could take your link you gave me here and put that somewhere they could see it, would that help them?
Well, that's what I gave Janet, but let me try it one more time.
Okay. And if you have to pop me somewhere else, I know how to get back in now. I know where the secret door is. So
Let me see here. The secret garden door.
yes. Oh, I love that idea.
And then when I gave you the link, did it pop up like
It
with?
looked active and it was highlighted blue and I could just pop, the first one you sent me, I put on a search and it sent me to some product somewhere in the world. So the last link
Okay.
was live, was an active link.
Okay, let me see here.
And I haven't seen Restream?
Restream, I was able to
I
figure out
like it.
in Restream, yeah, I can have 10 people live, Pete, but the person that
Oh,
I can have more people on the talk, but
but 10 on the screen at
10
once.
on the screen. So I'm still looking for
Wow.
my guest to come on.
Okay. Okay. Janet
Um,
is awesome. And I will yield the floor to Janet because just since
don't
we
leave me,
met 2
don't
weeks
leave me.
ago, no, since we met 2 weeks ago, Janet and I have talked quite a bit. We
You
are
have?
already good. Oh my gosh, we've got some ideas going because that's really, you and I haven't had a chance to talk, but really, I feel like my gifts are the networking for what the next people want to do that's really big. And so
Exactly.
I'm like inviting people into like an ignition incubator so that the biggest ideas get a chance to go off the rocket pad this year. And maybe it's financial, maybe it's personal, maybe it's your vision, maybe it's something that is a message that you have been so touched by and you think it could impact other people. But we're all here listening right now, aren't we? Online.
Well, can you either call or text Janet and help her get on?
Yeah, let me do that. And I'll just hang here with you. I'm glad I put my
Okay, no,
makeup on. I was just going to be secret for a minute there.
I'll take you off the screen. I'll take you off the
Okay,
screen.
I love that.
Okay. Okay. Back to you, everyone who's watching. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your patience. Bill Bradford, he was a guest. Hey, watch this. Check this out. I hit this little button. Boop. But the button is not working. So I don't know what I did. Oh, I have to be in chat probably. Okay, wait, here you go. Here you go. Bill came on. Somehow, I don't even remember, Bill, how we were talking last week, and you said, and I said, but I'm single, Bill, if you're interested. And he said, I've been married for, 39, 40 years or something. And so today he's saying, have not found you a man for you yet, but I appreciate that you are trying. I appreciate the effort. And yeah, so if you have never done this, obviously you can do it, because you can do it as imperfectly or better than I am. And so as people come on, their comments, you should actually be able to see them on your screen. And I can hit this little button, and then it highlights them over here. And that is so cool. And the first person to actually show up and let me know I was not talking to myself is Kanchan, is what I'm going to say. But feel free to write it phonetically. So while we're waiting for Janet to come on, she has written a book. Serendipity. Okay, the story is about Bill, I don't want to get you in trouble, but check this. Let me see. Here it is. I hope your wife's not watching that. It feels like 40, but it's only 29. I just knew it was a lot. Awesome. Congratulations. I love people that are married for a long, long time. So Janet and I serendipitously and synchronicity connected a couple of weeks ago when I was having my first trial run, and I invited Nan, who I went to coaching school with, and she invited people, and somehow Janet got on, and Janet and Nan are now friends. And Janet is today my guest, and she's going to be here, I promise. And she wrote a book called Human GPS. And the GPS stands for God's Perfect Script, the fulfillment of my why. And I will tell you a little bit more about Janet also. She is a coach. Let me see, there's about the author. She helps clients live their created purpose, that she believes that each person was born with a specific purpose. And hang on a second, I want to get a couple more comments up here. I have major ADD as it is, and now yeah, Janet.
Okay, so I'm texting her on LinkedIn, and she's glancing at that right now. So I don't know if that's a way to.
She's on the comments. I can see her on the comments, but she's not where you are.
Okay.
So I can't get her face.
She says she can see you in the comments, but she's not where I am inside.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Let me take that back. That could be taken. That could be taken all different ways. I don't have the ability to put her on.
I'm just going to read this to you, and you're a smart cookie. So the HTTPS I sent you says, after the 2 backslashes, it says studio.restream.io/guest.
Okay, HTTP
/ studio.restream.
Wait, I'm going to take that off. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Let me see. Darn. Hey, Carl. It's great to see you. Coming from New Jersey, and warm here today. What part of New Jersey? I spent 2 crazy summers. In hindsight, I don't know why I was ever allowed to do it. I spent 2 crazy summers in Wildwood, New Jersey. And when the summer I was 18 and the summer I was 19. So put 2 and 2 together. And so welcome, Carl, welcome. I love watching your show. Here's another one from Janet. About Janet. Okay, so back to Janet. She helps people find their purpose, that everyone is here for a purpose. And she is very God-based and spiritual-based. So you will hear her say the word God. Her clients have overcome the war between the flesh and the spirit. They cherish the joy of discipline, which yields a life filled with tremendous growth and success. If you work with her, you will be equipped with tools that will enable you to do the right thing, even when it feels impossible to do. She has a doctorate in psychology and is both board and ICF certified coach. ICF stands for International Coaching Federation. And that's very impressive. and she has worked extensively with Fortune 500 employees as well as those with special needs. So she's going to tell us more about her book once we get her on here. And Carl is telling me that he's about 20 minutes from Atlantic City. Okay. And Elizabeth, who is my #1 fan and groupie, says practice makes you powerful. So thank you. So I'm going to go through, while we're waiting for Janet to get on, I'm going to go through some of the things that I highlighted in her book. And what I really love about the book is that it's a quick read and it's very powerful. So sometimes I read books and I'm like, oh my gosh, they just have like 2 or 3 things to say and they like just make it into like 500 pages and I lose focus. And Janet's book is short, sweet. It's to the point. She tells you what she tells you where she came from, what happened, what it's like now. So in the introduction, she says, we are all unique. We each offer something that no one else can. What are your thoughts on that, people? Write in the comments what you think. That was just that was the first thing I highlighted, and that was the introduction. We are all unique. We each offer something that no one else can. You know what? Let me see if I can get someone else on here with the same link. Oh, maybe I do this. And now. Yeah, I just sent it to her again. Let me try Carl. Carl, you on LinkedIn? Yeah. Okay, let me send you the link, Carl, and see if you can get on. Okay. Any input? Anybody want to say anything about we are all unique. We each offer something that no one else can. If not, I'm going to move on to the next part I have highlighted. In her book, Janet says, hey, Carl, so I just sent you the link. See if you can join me live. I mean, she's talking about a lot of stuff. And then she says, and let's not forget my relationship and trust in my creator, my savior. My faith sustained me. And God, again, God is one and is a minority. I mean, a majority. I love that. God and one is a majority. So just you and God makes it enough. The next thing I highlighted was when I trust my why in what God has in store for me. God's perfect script is what Janet calls it, GPS. When I trust it, the GPS throws needed light on my way. So sometimes we don't know where we're going or where we're supposed to be going, but Janet in her book is saying when you trust in God, that the path becomes clear and it's lit up. And I have done that many times in my life where it's sometimes small, sometimes large leaps of faith on where I want to be and what I want to do. And despite opposition from people who either don't really know me or don't understand, and I am a lot. I understand that I'm a lot. My mind is different than most people, and I have ideas that seem really preposterous and incomprehensible to others. And I just wait and listen for the voice to tell me, or I'll say, God, I need you to send me a sign. Can you make it really big so I don't miss it? And a few years ago, I moved from San Diego, which is where I spent most of my life, and I moved up to San Francisco area, packed up, sold or gave away pretty much everything I owned and moved to San Francisco area. I lived in the Bay Area. I lived in on the peninsula, as they call it, and I mean, people just thought I was crazy, and I probably was crazy. But I just said, God, if you want me there, put me there. If you don't want me there, keep me here. And if you open the doors, I'm going to walk through. And so I just kept walking through, and here we are. I was there for 3 years, and it was a huge learning experience. Good and bad. It was a big struggle. In the end, I lost my job, which we can talk about at another time. But and then I came back to San Diego because my daughter just had my first. Yes, I know she had the baby, but it's my first grandchild, so I'm really excited to be back in San Diego to be a grandma. And Kachin Sharman says, preserve your uniqueness. Do not try to copy others. It's true. It's absolutely true that we were all here for something different. And that's what I think is great about having a coach, which Janet and I both are, is that you have somebody impartial giving you information. Sometimes your friends and your family, they're either going to, excuse me, since we're talking about God, but they're either going to co-sign your bullshit, which means like they're going to say, oh, sure, that you can do that. That's not a problem. Or they're going to say, oh my God, what are you thinking? Don't move to, what are you talking about? You know, if you get out of the real estate market in California, you're never going to get back in. Do not move to San Francisco. And it is crazy, but a coach helps you figure out the pros and the cons and helps you make your own decision. So now I'm on page 7 of Janet's book, and it says, strength emerged as I practiced my why within the framework of my relationship with God. I followed it. I trusted it. Here Elizabeth is saying is coming in with something. Let's see what she has to say. Every single being has gone through so many challenges, some happiness, some sadness, and grew up in different cultures and society. So you are unique, and there is nobody like you. And that is true. And Elizabeth, I just love your energy, and I love looking at your picture with your ginormous smile and so much happiness. So that's true. So then Janet says, I followed it. I trusted it. Updates on my paths, road conditions came through warning signs, 5-minute traffic jams, and detours. I really liked, I was telling her before yesterday when we spoke that the words that she chose for her book, I think, are amazing. So like warning signs, 5-minute traffic jams, detours, they're the times to reach out, and they are the times to reach out and see if someone else can help you. And also to pause and to listen. Sometimes the best thing to do is this is going to sound crazy, but sometimes the absolute best thing to do is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Just wait for a sign, or just wait and listen. Okay, let's see what else I highlighted. On page 10, I have Janet is talking about the difference between coaching and philosophy and psychology. And we get confused with psychology a lot. And let's see. Okay. Another thing that I really liked is that in Elizabeth's book, she says it's amazing to support people both literally and figuratively in their dark night experiences. And that, I'm pretty sure, is Carl Jung in The Dark Night of the Soul. And I just love that whole idea of even people that have really strong faith are sometimes lost. and have dark nights and moments where they question and wonder, am I doing the right thing? And now, Nan, that comment that you just wrote was private only to me. So, okay. Maybe, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Nan, thank you, everyone. Nan is now asking me, is there an invite option in your settings? And that's what I sent you. So I have a little button that says invite guests, and I hit it, and then it gives me the link, and I copy it, and then I come over to here and paste it, and that's how you got on. So hey, and someone came on and is soliciting something. Are you interested in making consistent income working from home? That's funny. Lisa, this is not where we want to solicit people for work, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. Okay. Oh, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas, as they say. Now we are cooking with gas. Okay.
Hello, finally.
Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Janet, I hope I didn't butcher your book too much. Start by telling
I didn't hear it, so it must have been awesome.
Awesome. I was just reading through some of the parts that I highlighted. And
okay.
I told a little bit about yourself. So do you want to just kind of introduce yourself, and then we will just talk back and forth?
Sure. Well, I think what transpired today in terms of the difficulties in getting on is characteristic for my own created purpose and my existence, and also the way in which I practice. And that is the ability to take the hurts or the scars in my life or anyone's life, my client's life, and make it transformative and make those scars turn into stars. So definitely the mere fact that we had all of these obstacles in trying to get on today is indicative of the fact that greatness is going to happen at the end. So I really want to thank you. I appreciate all that you have done, and I'm looking forward.
Awesome. What do you want to tell us about yourself? I'm writing a quote that you just said. You want to tell us about yourself as an author, as a coach, and then we can get into the book.
Well, clearly, I never really thought that writing a book was something that was going to be me.
Really?
I never aspired to be an author. It's clearly what I've said to many is that it's really God's words that he allowed me to put my name on. And that being the case, in reading the book over and over and over again, it really does minister to me as well. It meets me where I am and enables me to hop on and navigate through the process. So for those who are reading it and feel that, oh my gosh, she's speaking to me, I also, as the quote unquote author, experience that every single time I read it from cover to cover, or just open it and ask, how is it going to minister to me today?
I just love that, the quote unquote author. I feel that way with my children. Some people are going, what did you do when your child did this? I'm like, really? There was some part of me that I just felt like they didn't belong to me. So it's a weird thing. It's another crazy thought that most people aren't going to understand. But I think there's a Native American or indigenous people quote something about you borrow your children. The children are given to borrow. I don't know, but I've heard that at some point, and I'm like, yeah, these kids, they're so little that I have control over. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. And I think to stand in that place of transparency and awesomeness really makes you that much greater, because not taking yourself seriously, realizing that you are a conduit through which greatness flows, you continue to let greatness flow through you rather than bottleneck by your self-imposed feelings of awesomeness.
Oh, or to me, but when you said bottleneck, to me it's constricting, and then it's releasing. It's and it reminded me, for some reason, it reminded me of a timer, not a time capsule, a thing you go like this. So it's big, and then it gets constricted, and then it's open, and that we all are going to have at many times, not if these dark night experiences that you called them in your book, not if they come, when they come. They're going to come. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in every, but what is interesting is how you look at those moments. You know, how you allow them to flow through you, and you through them.
Right. Here's another quote. Here's another part that I highlighted. It says, everyone needs to be anchored, authenticated, and inspired. Tell us more about
that. You know, as exemplified in my book, the fact that I had such awesome parents who were just so progressive. You know, they died at, they were born in 1922 and 1924. So that tells you. And they were, you know, that statement by Lewis that says, get into good trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Those were my parents. And they really navigated how to get into good trouble, help somebody as you go along. And also that, you know, John, who is my brother with Down syndrome, he, for all intents and purposes, was the first son, and everyone expects that their first son is going to be perfect. And, you know, there was a stigma, definitely, to my father being a pastor and not coming out with a perfect son first go around. So all of those things could have been definite scars to their identity, scars to their faith, scars to a myriad of things. And instead, what they did was own his humanity, own the fact that he was breathing normally like all of us, he was seeing normally like all of us, and they took for granted all of the things that were the same and set standards and expected him to exceed it. And he did it every time. And because of that experience, that then translated for me the need to look at the similarities in greatness rather than the differences to exclude. So I grew up with a sense of inclusion and a sense of treasure for the greatness in everyone. And I think that really shaped my practice. Not think, I know it shaped my practice.
And what I got out of reading your book was the deep family love, which I got to tell you, not a lot of people have it. So the deep family love and the connection and how everybody just rallied around everybody. Beautiful, beautiful.
You know, we're Quakers, and so we're Quakers. And the practice in Quakerism is that there is that of God in every man. So irrespective of who you are, looking for the that of God in every man is what is one of our, you know, staunch premises. So I think it is from that love sort of branches.
Yeah. Now she's gone. I don't know what happened, but she's off the screen again. Here she comes. Here she comes. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. I don't know. You just disappeared for a second. I'm looking at another thing that you say that you ask. You talk to your clients and you ask them, and I'd like to hear more about it. When you see something that distresses you, what is the color or shape or the temperature of the oppressive situation? And then you say, what is the color, the temperature, and the shape of the solution? And where does the stress and the solution resonate in your body? So can you tell me, I combine solution and problem together, but could you tell us more about that?
The aim of that exercise is basically to take the charge out of the problem, right? Or finding the solution. And in the attempt to do something that is totally unexpected in terms of talking about the shape, talking about the color, and talking about the temperature of a situation is something totally disconnected. And so being able to open up and bring into this experience something new as color, something new as temperature, something new as shape makes a shift and opens the place both physically, psychologically, spiritually for something different to happen.
And do you find that there's a commonality that people say the same color or shape or place in their body?
Not necessarily. Not
Okay.
necessarily. I often say to them, in doing that exercise, let's do a scan of your body and see where in your body wants to be heard as it relates to this particular issue. And many times people say my stomach, all of a sudden just doing that, my stomach got into knots, or my throat got tight, or my ears started ringing. And I then say to them, so what if your ear had a voice? What is that ringing saying?
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know, there's a saying that you can't solve loneliness with No, the cure for loneliness is not isolation. And you have in your book, the problem is that too often people mistake individuality for isolation.
Right. So you and I, although we are in different locations and virtually may be alone where we are, the fact that we have found a way to connect us, i.e. LinkedIn, right? Is a connecting factor irrespective of where I may find myself. And so the willingness to be connected, however that means and whatever that looks like for you, is the answer. And so I speak of people who are very often, that I have treated, have been in a drunken stupor or a drug-induced, and it's the middle of the night and there's the darkness and so on. And being able to know that in the midst of that darkness, there is someone I can reach out to. And there is someone that I can talk to and can, exchange what it is I feel, even if I don't know. During COVID, in the beginnings of last year, one of the things I was led to do was to have a cathartic call. And that was where both first responders, which were your healthcare providers, and last responders, which were undertakers and, people involved in mortuary science, were able to just call and scream or cry. And that's all they did, was just scream and cry. And know that this was a holding space between their job and either the hotel or their home that they were going to, that they could just release. So it's very easy to feel that nobody understands, nobody will hear, nobody will envelop me in a way that feels understood, accepted, and heard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So the next thing I highlighted was, if you feel empty, it's because you're hungering for your why, hungering to live out the why, and hungering to live as your whole and true self.
Yeah, you know, within us is a desire to survive. And within us is a desire to belong. Within us is a desire to be anchored. And all of which can manifest itself in many ways. And it's a matter of embracing it, not as something that needs to be dismissed, but again, as something that needs to be voiced. Just like our, you know, global navigational system, it will continue until you change the destination. It will continue to say that it is recalculating the route. It's recalculating the route. It's recalculating the route. And so similarly, within us are those feelings, right? That knowing that says, I know there's more to this. I know there's an answer. I know there's something. That is our internal desire to find our why, find why we're here, find what we're supposed to do, who are we supposed to be connected with.
I love that, because, you know, and then, you know how sometimes I turned the voice to a British woman. I had a British guy, but his voice started getting on my nerves. I have a British woman, and she says, at the next possibility, take a U-turn or something like that. So it's like, okay, sometimes we have to make complete, like, this is not working, turn around. Yeah.
But when it's safe, I love the ones that say,
when it's safe. Right, when it's safe.
When it is safe, make a legal U-turn. And we have to embrace that in our lives, you know, that there may be a moment that we want to just drastically make a change. But that may not be safe for all of our sense of being. It may not be safe for our feet. It may not be safe for our perception of who we are and what we want to do. So we really need to constantly scan who we are, why we are, and what we are.
I love that. I don't mean to lead the conversation by what I highlighted. Is there anything, because I'll just go on to my next highlight if this is working for you.
It works beautifully for me.
Okay, awesome. You're talking about this part where consider a seed, an apple, a cherry, a peach, and you fling the seed, and then I highlighted, the only thing I actually highlighted was the seed obeys, which I found was just, the last sentence in that paragraph is, as long as there's soil, sunshine, and rain, something within the seed tells it to begin germinating, and the seed obeys. For some reason, I thought the seed obeys was so cool. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, that sense of being able to thrive, right? Starts from a place of survival, right? That seed, when everything is okay, until everything is okay, what it is supposed to do to thrive doesn't happen. But once you put it in conditions that will start to program and release that sense of survival, it's going to do it. And that's why you can find things growing between the cracks of concrete. You can find it growing anywhere because it is determined to survive. Now, the thriving is another step, but survival is going to happen.
Oh my gosh. Well, survival is the first step. You have to survive, then you can thrive.
There you go.
But
There you go.
I love that. I love that. Let me see what else I got here. It's under the section called pinpoint your location. So you're talking about that, and what I highlighted was, in the meantime, change something about what you do right now. So I've heard that before. Like, I have done it. I have changed the side of bed I sleep on, and it's crazy. Just change something that you normally do. And even in my Pilates classes, the woman has me like cross my legs, and then she'll say cross them the other way.
Opposite way.
Yeah. And so tell me more about that if you want to.
But I have people who are just adamant and say, I can't change, I can't change, I can't change.
Right.
And so within our session, I wait for it and I see them shift their body, whether it's adjust themselves in the seat or uncross their legs or cross their legs. And I said, what just happened? What just happened? And they're looking at me as if, there's something wrong with me, which is fine. I said, but you just changed your position. Why did you do that? Well, I wanted to be more comfortable, but you changed. And that's all I need you to do, is embrace the fact that when you become too discomforted, you will change.
Yeah. I like that. All the good, the bad, and the ugly have contributed to where you are right now.
Well, that's the same concept, that our scars and the things that hurt us transform us. And so for someone to think that there's so many people who have had devastating experiences, like, they've been abused, they've been whatever. And as they have that in their rearview mirror, they think that cannot be a part of their experience. And what I encourage is, you are on the other side of that. That speaks of tremendous strength, tremendous resilience. Let us look at that and see how, when we speak of that as your truth, what things of empowerment can come from that. And being able to hold that, you can speak with transparency to somebody else who's going through that same thing or something similar. You have unbelievably numbers of people who have sat in jail, and whether they were guilty or not guilty, they sat there for 25, 30 years. And they come out and they are transformed, and they're speaking and changing and, doing things that they would never have done had they not looked at where they came from and what they were involved in.
Yeah. And also take advantage of where they were at the time to make a decision to be different when they come out.
Very true. Very true. Incorporating it as a part of their why. Exactly.
It just, for some reason, just reminds me of Shawshank Redemption, where he says, the main character, I can't think of who he is, what his name is, says to Morgan Freeman, I learned to be a crook in prison, because he was innocent and he learned how to do all these crooked things in prison. Yeah. And capitalize on the gifts he had. But anyway, that's a total side note. At some point you talk about a woman named Sarah, and what I highlighted was some of Sarah's power was dimmed by the long shadows of a past falling forward on her present. I love, that's what you just were saying. Like it's, I loved how you said falling forward. Like, it's no longer in the rearview mirror. It caught up with me. It's here. It's it's now.
And it is bigger, and it is bigger than you. It becomes bigger than you.
I thought that was the words you used there, I thought were just so profound. Falling forward, I love that. Let's see. Okay, this is kind of something that I kind of spoke about before. They're whys that have been imposed through outside forces like family expectations, peer pressure, and the allure of grammar, the allure of glamour. So that the section title is, "Are you living out someone else's why?"
Yeah, and oftentimes there are family decisions that, you know, grandpa was an MD, you know, dad was an MD, so you have to be an MD, or, you know, somebody was a lawyer, so you need to be a lawyer. And it's not really, and I spoke of examples in that in the book, where it's not really their why. And after years of trying to make it work, once they broke away and really lived their created purpose, they took off and they were free. And they made a larger imprint on the world, you know, than they would have doing somebody else's, because they're not being true to who they are.
I love that. Which,
it looks like there's a question. Is there a question in the chat?
Is there a question? I don't see a question.
Oh, okay.
But certainly put a question in the chat if you have a question.
No.
Well, let's bring it back to Janet and her why, because right now I have highlighted, I was trained as a classical pianist. And a few months ago, then there's more. And then a few months ago, I signed up for lessons. So tell me more about that.
It's a work in progress. But it truly does. I mean, it was imposed upon me as a child. From 5 to 18, I was trained classically, competed, and did well. But it was not something that I definitely embraced. And I put it down, and I always said that at some point in my life, I'd pick it up again. And I didn't do it in my 50s, and decided towards the latter part of my 50s, early 60s, I was going to come back to it. And it's interesting that my fingers remembered a lot more than my brain does.
Right?
And so they want to go a lot faster than my eyes can read the notes, and because it's all based on memory. But it's a fun process. And I have a piano that has headphones, so I can practice to my heart's content. And the rest of the house doesn't have to be bothered by my repetitions and the, you know, repeating of phrases and so on. So it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I do regret, though, that I stopped it, but it's a part of my why now, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I too grew up with a mother that played the piano, and I took lessons, and then I let it go, and it still calls to me. There's been several times in my adulthood that I bought a piano and played a little bit and then let it go, but I find it very spiritual. I feel like there's this really strong connection with God and music.
Definitely. It is so much fun. I really enjoy it. It is calming. It is a reconnection for me. It soothes the savage breast. It really does.
It's just you. It's like time just for you, and that's why I like swimming, because it's like just me and the blue line.
Yeah.
To me when it's touching me. I have to recognize my friend Gina Gross, that Rocky, that we have known each other since second or third grade, I would think.
Wow.
I don't know if we were in the same first grade room. I know I was in same first grade room as Linda and Sarah, two of our other friends. But she says, when I said mirror, and I corrected myself, mirror, because in Philly we would say mirror. So she said, She's saying, yeah, my Philly accent just came out. Oops. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, people won't know what mirror. Only people in Philadelphia will know what a mirror is. Yeah. So do you plan on, what is your plans with your music?
Right now, it's just for me.
Good.
Just for me.
Good. The next, one of the other things, I'm skipping through a lot of my quotes that I have highlighted, but that vision of your future is a sight of compelling great beauty and grace. I love that. I just like the word grace.
Don't we all need to be held in a space of grace?
Right.
It is just,
yes.
it's a word that just holds you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be nothing other than just appreciating being held in grace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It touches every facet. The word itself, just hearing it, touches every facet of my existence and is a safe place. I don't have to be anything but enjoy that grace.
I just love the word. It takes my breath away sometimes, just to hear the word grace. We're coming to the hour, and I know you kind of got a little gypped out of a little in the beginning, but I told everyone we would be on for an hour. Is there anything you want to close with, and then tell us where we can find you and how we can buy your book, things like that?
I really want to appreciate you for this space, and it has been extremely rich. It's always wonderful to hear somebody else's take on what was written. It is reminiscent for me where in the Bible it talks about people hear things in their own tongue, and that always charges me to see how words have totally different meanings dependent on how you come to them and how they resonate with you. So that always just puts the biggest smile on my face when I hear people talk about these words and how they receive them. I am available if you are a person who wants to utilize your scars and see how the things that hurt you can transform you to your greatness. I'm available. Would love to coach with you. Would love to take the journey together. You can reach me by going to janetpalmer.com. My book is also entitled Human GPS, God's Perfect Script, The Fulfillment of My Why. It's available on Amazon. If you just go to Amazon and type in Human GPS, Janet Palmer, it will pop up. And yeah, I look forward to serving and seeing the richness of your becoming.
Oh, I love that. It sounds very comforting and inviting.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. All right. All right, everyone, I'm going to close it out now. And Janet, you and I can stay on after we come off the air. You and I will still see each other.
Okay, great.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay. Bye.